Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ashley. I'm here with In the City magazine today and Angelo Moe of Hienz Incorporated. Thanks for being here.
Glad to have me.
So today we're going to be talking all things entrepreneurial journeys and everything about Angelo Moe. So let's start this off by just give us a little bit of background of who you are. What exactly is Hienz Incorporated?
Okay, well, who I am is Angelo Moe,
Yeah.
of course. Originally from New York, but I've been
Okay.
here in Atlanta for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the mortgage business for about 30 years. Hienz Incorporated we are a hard money, private money brokerage firm.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is we do most of strictly real estate. Of course, we have different branches where
Sure.
we do business lines of credit, but we also now in the construction part. But mostly it's strictly fix and flip, bridge loans, construction loans, new construction, of course, refinancing. But most of it is all or primarily investment properties.
Okay. So why the switch to Hienz Incorporated on your own?
The reason why I switched to Hienz Incorporated on my own is due to the fact that I was paying somebody for something that I could do myself.
Yeah.
When you realize that you're doing the same thing the same way on every transaction, getting the credentials or getting the necessary licensing or paperwork for you to do it on your own just becomes the biggest challenge. But outside of that, just being able to work for yourself has been very rewarding.
Yeah. Did you make the switch like cold turkey, quit working for somebody else, or was it like, did you build on the side?
That was a great question. Did I go cold turkey or did
Yeah.
I build on the side? I would have to say combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
So what I had to do was I had to make the decision that I was going to get on my own.
Yeah.
But while I was getting on my own, I was getting still clients because 90% of my business is a referral business.
Yeah.
So when I made the decision to go on my own, what I did was I started filtering those referrals instead of bringing them into the company that I was working for. I started filtering it into the Hienz Incorporated company.
Yeah. So I know on my journey, I kind of did the same. I kind of started to work on the side, but then there was a moment where I had to take like that leap of faith.
Absolutely.
And it was a leap of faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on this journey, I mean, an entrepreneurial journey is unlike anything else. And I think that having that faith that you're going to catch yourself is like one of the biggest things you need because it ain't always easy, right?
It's I to your point, I think the reality is that you can't be derelict in your approach to being an entrepreneur. You have to be intentional. You have to have discipline to do that. And a lot of times people think that, okay, hey, it's a cakewalk, or they just see the results of what you have, but they don't know the sleepless nights that you have. Oh my goodness, I got to pay my light bill, water bill, gas bill. Everything is due and you're still waiting for a loan to close and it doesn't happen. So what do?
Yeah.
I think that when you understand the dynamics of the business that you're in, when you understand what it takes and what it doesn't take, I think a lot of times people want to hear success stories, but they don't want to hear failure stories.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. They think it's just this like straight up climb. And there's some moments along the way that kind of test your faith in yourself.
Well, not just that. I think that when you deal with people that have failure stories, I think those are the best maps to follow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The not tos versus the to dos. Now, of course, we have to have the to dos.
Yeah.
But if this is the reason why I failed, and I can be a sure witness that, I've gone belly up twice, but I've never given up on it because I realized that I made some mistakes.
Yeah.
I got the information that I needed to get. And I think a lot of times people don't do their due diligence.
100%. But it's like you said, it's those failures that give you the information you need to then become successful on the other side.
Absolutely. They say failure is the best source of wisdom.
Yeah. And just a lot of people, I think, I don't know if it's sure, there's maybe a lack of belief in themselves that they really can do it, but there's just the fear of even getting in the game. There's a fear of stepping into the arena that holds a lot of people back, I think, from like actualizing their dreams. And so we're just, like I said in the beginning, so happy to have you here because you're this example of, hey, we can do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The reality is that when you understand first that this is your passion.
Yeah.
What you're passionate about is what you're going to go after.
Yes.
If you're not passionate about it, then your chances of success, maybe not that high. But if I'm passionate about it, I breathe, sleep, wake up, I'm always thinking about loans.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about real estate because that's my passion. That's what I love to do.
Yeah.
And because of that, I find ways being innovative. I go to seminars, I go to classes, I go to places where there will be teachable moments where I can grab onto certain things and learn and glean from it. Because I think that when you become a student of learning, then you can be successful in your entrepreneurial endeavors.
Yeah,
it's an ongoing teachable moment.
That's what I love about entrepreneurs so much too, is that they take advantage of opportunities like that. Like they seek them out.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like you're seeking out these opportunities to do exactly what you just said. And not everybody has that in them.
Well, here's the funny that you should mention that. Most people feel that they've arrived.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And after 30 years in this business, I don't feel that I have arrived. Matter of fact, I'm going to a seminar in Tampa next week.
Yeah.
Because as time changes, things change.
Yeah.
Financing always changes. I mean, I'm learning something about that every day.
Yeah.
Even though the process of doing the loan is the same, the results might be different.
Yeah.
Because every client is different.
Yeah.
Every property is different.
Yeah.
Deal scenarios become different.
Yeah.
But I think because I have embedded myself in learning, embedded myself in being in the room with people that are greater than I am, that have exceeded further than I have exceeded, or they're in places that I want to go, I want to put my ear to their lips to realize what it is that they're doing so that I can at least find a model that would support what it is that I'm doing.
Right. Don't you think that that's what makes it so exciting too? That there's always something new to learn?
Wow, that's even, man. From the private money sector to the public sector, because of course I'm on the private money, hard money sector in financing.
Yeah.
The reality for me is that when you can incorporate or collaborate or do a collaboration with both entities, the private sector and the public sector, and you're sitting there and you're saying, wow, why are they doing this? Or how did they do that? And you understand why the private sector now, that gap is getting closer and closer from private money to hard money to the conventional money or bank money.
Yeah.
And it's because you've taken the time to investigate it.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, I think it's so much fun.
Absolutely.
But yeah. Okay. So we talked about some of the things that you found along the way, like for success. Do you feel like in the times where maybe the failures were coming, like those 2 times, right? Give us a little bit of maybe what was one of the biggest pieces you took from it.
Being informed about every aspect of what it is that you're doing. When I shared this a few weeks ago or last week, I shared the fact that about 3 years ago, I really was trying to move into the investor, like another branch of Heinz Incorporated, we becoming the investment side. And we were trying to do a development, which I gathered investors together, I gathered people together, we put the money together. But the biggest thing is we could not vet our GC. I didn't understand that. Vet your GC. That was something at that time, after being in the business 27 years, why do you have to vet your general contractor? Because most general contractors, all they did was, hey, I can build this house, I can get the electrician, get the drywall in, I can get somebody to pour the concrete, HVAC, all of those wonderful things. And they did that. But now, to your point, to your previous question, now you have to understand the why banking now says, okay, hey, general contractors just walk off.
Yeah.
General contractors don't have any skin in the game to keep them vested in the process.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't find one at the time. And not only that, general contractors have to have experience in what you are in fact building.
Yeah.
I was building townhomes.
Mm.
At the time, I just couldn't find a general contractor that could do that, or that was vetted, that said that they did this. They bought, sold, and ultimately built. Couldn't find that. Most frustrating thing, at the tune of 300 and something thousand.
Yeah.
Because to keep the deal together, I had to keep putting money into it.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned skin in the game, and how some of the people along your journey don't have the skin in the game that you do.
The unfortunate thing is that we have influencers, I guess social media is calling them influencers now, that say that, you know, you can get into this house or build this house or do this or do that and not have any money. Does not work. You're going to get money from somewhere. Skin in the game might mean calling you and saying, hey, I got this transaction, I got this deal, do you want to be a part of it? The lender might not know that I've come to you, right. But the reality is most lenders, or if not all lenders in the construction aspect, want to see that you have some sort of investment into this transaction. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times we're showing people or telling people are saying, oh, you can get money and you could have your business. True. But why would a bank give me $50,000, $100,000, and they don't know who I am? Right. Exactly. So do you think that the biggest fix for this is education behind all of this? I think not only is it the biggest fix as being education, but I think it is the only fix. Yeah. Doing your due diligence to make sure that you are successful, doing your due diligence and making sure that you know how to apply what it is that is being said. And that's a learning or a teachable moment. Yeah. I spend a lot of time, which sometimes by default, explaining. I started explaining at 7:30 this morning. Yeah. Because someone wanted to know, well, how can I get this done with this and in this amount of time? Well, here's how you're going to do it. And when after I explained it to them, they didn't meet the criteria. So how do I meet the criteria? We had to go to another step. Yeah. You're going to have to bring somebody along your operating agreement. Yeah. Yeah. And make them a part of your scenario. Yeah. And that's how you can move forward. So you're an educator along the way. You have to be. Yeah. There are so many, I've been guilty. There's so many people say, oh, it's a scam or it's fraud or it's not, because it doesn't close or because it doesn't fit into, you're trying to put a triangle into a square and it doesn't work. So people feel that because it doesn't work, oh, it wasn't a deal. No, you didn't do your homework to get the information. And because I've been a recipient of that, I'm letting everybody know, no, you have to do your homework. You have to, is your GC vetted? Where is your experience? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And so yes, education is paramount. Yeah. It is the cure-all. Yeah. For many things. For many things. Yeah, for many things. Okay, guys, we will take a quick break. We'll be back with Angelo Moe.
Whoa. Wait. Your magazine is moving.
Yeah, you just caught the new technology by Art Emerge. This is the brand new cover of In the City magazine featuring Killer Mike, and Art Emerge has made it so that the artwork comes to life. All you have to do is download Art Emerge on your phone, and you can see the In the City magazine come to life.
Oh my God. In the City magazine.
The one and only.
Welcome back, everyone. Again, it's Dr. Ashley with In the City magazine. I'm here with Angelo Moe of Hienz Incorporated. We've heard so much from him already about the importance of education, kind of in everything. And little nuggets for tips of success along the way. Speaking of success, he looks very successful in the way he knows how to dress himself. So tell me a little bit more about the inspiration behind your fashion. What do you shoot for? Tell me, how do you get dressed in the morning?
Okay, so the reality is that 80-20%.
Mm-hmm.
80-20 is 80% of it is your presentation.
For sure.
How you look.
Yeah.
How you articulate what it is. If they really like you. It's a gazillion people do what I do.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that, I'm going to share something else with you in a moment. But I believe that it is because I put the time and the effort into my presentation.
Yeah.
Do I always make it? No.
Yeah.
But do I try to, most of the time, make a presentation that, hey, when I walk in the room, my closing attorney doesn't like for me to show up because I'm going to outdress him 100% of the time. Because he just wants to come, close the loan.
Yeah.
I think that when you show people that you respect your craft, I'm in the finance world.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respect your craft.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't respect your craft, then who's going to respect you?
Yep.
So yes, I
Exactly.
put effort into.
Yeah. Well, like the presence of professionalism, how you dress is really for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Because you're represented, and especially when you have your own business, right?
Absolutely.
Like you're representing all of the skin in the game that you have.
Absolutely.
And when you leave a room, the goal is that they define you as professional.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts with your appearance.
I think that unfortunately, we have downgraded the dress code.
Yeah.
Even to the church house.
Sure.
Come as you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. Believe me, I'm not against it at all. I do wear jeans sometimes in church, so I'm not against it at all. But what I am saying is that there was a time growing up where you wouldn't come to church without looking.
Totally.
I mean, just you. It was like you was casket sharp. You was going to make sure. But now that's not a priority. That's not a big deal. Even in the finance world, a lot of guys still. But when we first got started in this business, you wasn't coming to a closing without a tie on.
For
you
sure.
you wasn't going into the bank without seeing everyone. And believe it or not, some of your old school employees still dress that way only because that's the foundation in which they grew up on, and it's still my foundation. I don't go to a closing without looking presentable.
Yeah.
Because if you work for money, you ought to at least look like money.
For sure. You know the song Classic Man by Jadena?
Uh-huh.
Every time I see somebody dressed like that, that's the song that plays in my head. So when you walked in, I was like, that song was playing in my head.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the 80-20, and I share that with other guys that try to get in this field, and it's like they might not have the suits or the jackets but be presentable.
Yeah.
Iron it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Take it to the cleaners.
Yeah.
I think that I'm an advocate for the 80-20 rule, that if you present yourself, the other 20% will be a piece of cake.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things also, like I said, I work in sexual health, and that world is still new for a lot of people. Or what it is. I mean, most of what I do is education.
Okay.
Right? If I told you I work in sexual health, you might be like, well, what is that?
I'm kind of interested in knowing what that is, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I help people. I'm a sexuality counselor. And so I help people understand their bodies, essentially.
Really?
Yeah. So it may be you and a partner that I'm working with, helping, facilitate conversations between the two or however many of you. Really where I work is, how do you understand your body, right? The more we understand our own body, the more we show up in the world the way that we're intended, right? People who have a hard time breaking through that, like, this is my passion and this is where I want to get to, sometimes the block behind it is they're not in touch with their body. They're not in touch with who they are at the essence of things, right? And so when I see people, we've come away from the true definition of like what our essence is, right? It's the personification of love in all aspects of our life, right? And unless we have a true connection with our own body, our own selves, we lose out on some of that. And so really that's what I help people do.
I think that that's a great way to elaborate on what we're talking about as it relates to success.
Yeah.
Because when you can present yourself and you know how to present yourself and you know the results of presenting yourself in the proper manner because you've identified with who you really are, I think that it becomes more adaptive.
Yeah.
It becomes more intentional.
Yep.
I'm intentional when I leave the house.
Yep.
I'm intentional when I come to my office.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm intentional is because I never know. Good example, cannot tell a lie. I got to my office a little bit early yesterday, and there was a gentleman that was a delivery person. And the delivery person was just delivering whatever he was delivering to the local restaurants that were there. And I came off the elevator and he looked familiar, but of course, me being laser focused on where I'm going, I didn't pay any attention to it. He comes back downstairs, then he comes back upstairs and he says, "Mr. Angelo." I said, "I'm at a disadvantage. Let me know who you are." He told me who he was, but he also said, "You closed on a house for me and my wife in 2005.
Wow.
I said, "Really?" And he said, "Man, you still look the same. You clean all the time." And that's to your point. You have to understand what it is that, and here's what happened. While I'm talking to him, he says, "Just the other day, somebody asked me that I know a mortgage broker that could help them with some investment properties." I mean, it's paramount that you identify with who you are.
Yeah.
It is paramount that you be intentional in your presentation because it always makes 100% the difference.
You're exactly right. I mean, when you do represent yourself, you know who you are, it just becomes so much easier to exist in the world. And people think that hiding is the easier way, right? Like, exactly, it's not. And once you listen, like when you listen to your passion of like, I'm no longer going to work for somebody, I can do this myself, right? Like everything follows in line. You don't have to work so hard against this like wall that you're pushing up against when you're trying to go against your passion.
To your point, accountability is key.
Yeah.
You know, I shared this with someone else today as well. I just had about 3 or 4 conversations that I had to give life experiences as relates to business. I said, criticism is a good thing for me. It opens up more doors than I've ever had open. I said, I don't want to always be criticized to get business, but I use criticism as a door of opportunity.
Yeah.
I think that when you understand that your heart is always in the right place, things don't always happen the way you want them to happen. People are just what they are, people.
Yeah.
They have their own opinions, they have their own thoughts, they have their own ideas.
Yeah.
But most times people don't like to deal with the facts.
Yeah.
And when I'm a fact type person, so I'm going to deal with the facts. Even if I take criticism, I'm going to be accountable for the part that I played in the transaction or didn't play in the transaction. And I keep that train moving. At the end of the day, you are 100% right. You have to know who you are. You have to have that presentation that always says, you know what, when I look in the mirror, did I do everything that I could today in that particular transaction to be successful?
Yeah. And when you're willing to accept, like you said, nobody wants to be criticized all the time.
Nobody does.
But really what you just said, again, in a different way, is that education is so important. You're just learning more about yourself in this instant, but you're willing to hear the information. You're willing to hear the facts, like you said, about how can I be better? How can I do it differently next time? Not because I'm a terrible person and I just did something totally wrong, but I care so much about myself that I want to put myself out in the world as the best version of me possible.
Absolutely.
And we don't we don't get there unless we're willing to constantly be learning about ourselves. Not just our craft, but ourselves. It kind of becomes one after a while, maybe, but.
Over this 30-year period, there are some things I just don't do anymore.
Yeah.
There are some things.
Give us an example.
No, would not do that. But will not do that. We are on social media. No, we're not going to do that. But here's what I will tell you. There are some things that I just don't do anymore.
Yeah.
To your point or to your question, what I'll say is this. There are some things that are gray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Can I say that?
Absolutely.
There are some things that are gray. I stay out of the gray area. Things that are not criminal or illegal, but have that connotation that could teeter-totter on that fence. I just either stay on the ground or jump the fence now. Because at the end of the day, if you got to keep looking over your shoulder, it's not worth it.
Ain't it? Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah.
And people think that, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shortcuts are always
the long route.
There you go. You said it. Thank you for finishing my sentence.
Yeah.
Shortcuts are always the long route.
They are.
And people think because I take a shortcut or because I cut across the field this way or that way, that it's going to make the difference, but it doesn't. It's only a temporary fix.
Yeah.
And how many of us live our lives just off of temporary fixes?
And how exhausting is that?
What?
Yeah.
The reality for me is that the mortgage business has had its good days and its bad days. Do I want to be a part of the problem or do I want to be a part of the solution?
Yeah.
So when I say that there's some things that just don't do anymore, it's because I want to be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
And when you want to become a part of the solution, you are readily aware of what it will take to be successful. And you do your best to put your best foot forward so that you yourself can be counted worthy of your vocation that you are engaged in.
Yeah.
Being a sex therapist has a lot of value to it. But if you go about it any kind of way, you're probably not going to have that many clients.
Exactly. Yeah. Same with everything. And now, from what I hear, the people are seeking you.
Oh, yeah. I don't worry. Honestly, that's not to toot my own horn.
Yeah.
That is to say, when you've been around as long as I've been around, I've had my good days, I've had my bad days. Being an entrepreneur, if you think that every day is going to be happy-go-lucky, you're sadly mistaken. Once again, you're dealing with people. If you're dealing with people, guess what else? You're dealing with personalities.
Yeah. Yep. And not everybody is for you.
Not every.
And that is 100% okay.
Yeah. And you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And most people are not.
Right. And I want to highlight, though, I just wanted people to know that people are seeking you out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come from you not being prepared for this success, right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because as I mentioned before we started, my day starts at 5:00.
Yeah.
I'm up at 4:30 every day.
Yeah.
And that, I spend time sending out emails. I spend time following up with clients. At the beginning of the month, every client hears from me. At the beginning of every month, every client hears from me. At the beginning of every week, every client gets an update from me. I have a staff. I have processors. They do their job. They do their job well. I wish I could pay them more because there are times when they have my back that I didn't even know they had my back.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that customer service is important, and you have to be. I'm a grassroots guy. I don't mind rolling up my sleeves and getting dirty. Yeah. If it makes the customer happy.
Yeah. Makes it mean a little bit more too, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So where are you going from here? What's next?
Ooh, what's next from here? I think right now we're branding in the construction world.
Okay.
So we're in the process now of getting the people educated so they can get their license, so that we can have another arm to Heinz Incorporated, and that is the construction arm.
Cool.
Of course, the investment side is starting to now pick up because we are vetting our GCs, so we know exactly what we're up against.
Okay. So I've also heard that you might be a feature in the City Magazine.
Might
be.
I might be.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, finish.
I think that people need to know about not only the finance world, but they also need to know about real estate.
Yeah.
I think the best investment is the dirt.
Yeah, exactly, right?
The best investment is dirt.
Yes.
And I think that when you acknowledge that and do your homework, make sure you get the right deal, so that if it goes bad, you're not saying scam, fraud, all this other stuff, negative connotations that people come up with because it didn't work for you.
Yeah.
Do your homework. Get all of the facts. Stay out the gray area.
Yeah.
Stop taking shortcuts. Do it the right way, and you're going to find yourself successful.
I love that. Do you want that to be your parting words, or do you have anything else you want to give us?
I think that would be my parting word.
I think that was great. I think that was awesome.
Yeah.
So we just want to thank our sponsors, Icebreakers Water, Giorgio's, and Aku Clothing. And thank you so much from Dr. Ashley and In the City Magazine. Thank you, Angelo.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.